together so they can try things. You're invited to this podcast so that you can try things. Now we will stop singing so that we can all now try this.
Hello and welcome to Now Try This, the podcast where two best friends get together every week to try something new. I'm Marcus.
And I'm Nick. But am I the Nick you know? Or am I phoning in from a weird place? Guys, I'm not home. I don't know how to talk about it. I wish I was. But I am at work somewhere far away. And if you listen to this and hear people in the background, I've tried to be super polite and tell them they won't bother me. But honestly, they could totally bother me and you might hear them. So let us know.
And
you hear
they're
people in
allowed
the
to
back.
exist in the space. You guys are basically 24/7 live, work. What's that thing? Like work, live, space.
You know, we don't need to talk about my
Corporate
situation. Guys,
slavery,
you are
capitalism.
listening to Now Try This podcast where we challenge each other. What does that mean? Well, that means that Marcus and I have been best friends for a really long time. And we love things besides each other. And those things that we love, we want our friend to watch and enjoy those things. So we created this podcast so we can make sure that the other one enjoys and experiences all the things that we love. But every once in a while, every so often, very specifically once a month, the patreon.com/nowtrythiscast gets to decide what we do. And the Patreons have voted. And this month was a tie.
Woo! Between what?
Barbie and Mad Max Fury Road. Now, it's crazy because I'm out here not where I'm supposed to be. So we decided we're going to do both of them. And one of us probably would have challenged the other one to do Barbie anyway. But we are going to do Mad Max today. And then later in the month, once we've both seen Barbie, we will do that film. Now, guys, last week, I gave you a call to action that was brilliant. So I'm going to do the same today without any preparation. Guys, I don't want you to subscribe. I don't want you to give us money. I don't want you to do any stuff. I want you to do one thing very specific. I want you to tweet at us at Now Try This Cast. Yes, we're still on Twitter. Tweet at us the picture of what you were eating right after you listened to this episode of the podcast. It could be a snack. It could be a chicken meal. It could be a meatloaf. It could be a burger from Mickey D's or Wendy's or Burger King D's nuts. And that is what I want you to send us. I want to see a picture of food because, guys, I'm doing Whole30 and I'm freaking hungry. I am a hungry boy.
It could be a chicken meal.
Yeah, give me a chicken meal. You know those meals that are very famous because they're made with chicken? Not by chicken. That would be confusing, but with chicken.
What is Whole30 exactly?
Oh, I'm so
I don't
glad
understand
you asked.
Whole30, if I'm being honest.
Whole30 is not an elimination diet, but it is a diet where you eliminate a lot of things because
That sounds like an elimination diet.
No. It is a diet that you readjust your relationship with food. And the easiest way to do that is to basically go cold turkey off of processed food and sugar. So you can't have sugar, you can't have wheat, you can't have dairy, you can't have corn, peanuts, legumes, alcohol. I think that's it. You can't have any of those things for 30 days. And then one by one, you slowly reintroduce those things into your diet to see how they affect you. Does corn make you groggy? Does sugar really crash you super hard? Do you have a not good relationship with these things in terms of snacking, in terms of all these things? Did you just in the chat ask for what the challenge could be? You're hilarious. But anyway, Marcus, yes, that is Whole30. Lexi is doing it with me. It is not that miserable. I'll be honest. This is my 4th time doing it. I lost so much weight over the pandemic and I've gained 75%, I think, of it back. Very frustrating. Well, 80 or 90% of people who lose weight, you know these facts, lose weight, gain it back. And it's extremely frustrating. I learned how to diet and cook and eat right during the pandemic. I had nothing to do but put pants on. It was so easy to do. So I didn't really address my triggers in a really deep, meaningful way. So that's what this round of Whole30 is for. This is my 4th round, I think. And I'm really trying to adjust how I think about food when I'm busy, when I'm working, when I'm stressed.
Sounds
And
like an
that's way
ad
harder.
for Whole30, but do they sponsor? I
Yeah,
have
I'm sure.
I've had a similar
Would you
problem.
do Whole30? Would you do Whole30 for 30 days if it got a sponsorship deal?
If they sponsor, sure, whatever, I don't care. But I
actually, I don't know if you
similar
can.
problem.
I feel like you might need to
Eat
more
normal
than Whole30.
It's
Yeah,
protein.
you might
Is
need-
it proteins? Can I eat protein?
Oh, actually, honestly, Whole30 would probably be really good for you too,
If it's just
because
protein is fine.
all you can eat is basically proteins, fats, and carbs. Right? You can eat protein. You
It
can
sounds
meats.
like all the food.
No, there's a lot of processed bullcrap. That's what it is. You can only eat meat, vegetables, fruit. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's similar to a paleo diet,
Mm-hmm.
but that's really all you can eat.
I feel like before the pandemic started, I was running. Then during the pandemic, I was running hard. And my problem was that I was eating for the running. So I'd run like 20 miles multiple times in a week or whatever, like
And you
run like a
gotta-
good chunk. So I was
Yeah.
running. And then I'd be like, great, I'm going to eat a whole pizza. Like do whatever, because I just burned like 4,000 calories or whatever,
You kinda
2,000
have to.
calories. So I want to eat food and replenish, make sure I'm getting food. Especially since I wasn't trying to, I was like, I don't want to lose any more weight than I was at the time.
Yeah.
So I was like trying to fill myself full of calories. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to keep eating this much, but not run. And I've gained some of the weight back. I've gained like 40 pounds back, I would say total.
You still look great. I
appreciate
couldn't
that.
tell. When you were at your
Heaviest,
I was gonna say your lightest.
my
You know?
thinnest. Oh yeah. I was
Your
like 180.
When you were racing and shit,
Mhm.
you looked weird. Not because you looked funny. You looked weird because you looked like an athlete. It was weird.
Yeah.
Like
no,
I
get
know
that.
you as not an athlete, and I was
That's
like,
fair.
you look like, as I saw you running, and I literally
Mhm.
went to see you run. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
wow, you look like a freaking Adonis. Like, it
I
was
remember
weird.
you
Like,
saying that.
as your friend, I was just like, you look godlike.
Thank you. I appreciate
It
that.
was wild.
I
You could have
just-
been a movie star.
I just want to get back to that godlike status. That's all I want. And
Yeah,
then
but
be
like-
cast in a Marvel movie.
Yeah, Darren. Me and Darren just talked about how hot you were. That's exactly what it looked like.
I appreciate that. Nick, I have a quick question. Tangent
Yeah.
question before we get into the episode.
It's the only question you get.
Okay.
Make it count.
With SAG-AFTRA going on strike now,
Yeah.
would you scab?
If I was SAG,
I mean,
Oh, no,
actively
specifically,
they
I'm
don't
not-
want people in SAG.
actively,
right? So,
you're
like,
asking me right now.
right
am
now,
I going to?
you're
SAG?
not SAG.
Scab. Am I gonna
Would
scab?
you scab?
Are you asking if I'm going to? Because I
No,
technically
not
I'm
if
in
you're
a
going to,
situation-
like,
I'm
would
in
you
a
scab?
situation. Well, I don't. It's hard to speak hypothetical because it's a real question. Because I'm not non-union, so I
Yeah.
can take non-union.
You could
work.
scab. You could be in a Marvel movie right now. You just you just got to scab. That's it.
No, I think anything big enough that would be meaningful enough for me to cross that picket line would burn too many bridges. Right.
Fair enough.
And like, I think I'm in a situation right now, financially and career-wise, where I can't be picky. I'm not a picky person yet. I can't be that picky. So if things came around, I would take them mostly, but I don't think it would be worth it. I don't think there would be big enough things that I would be worth it to do. Would you scab?
I don't have the like training or the like
That's not the
anything
question.
that you have. So I feel like it's I don't
That's right.
have
You don't
the
have
like
any of the
I
things
don't have the
I have
respect.
so much more than you. There's like a whole laundry list of things that
You've
I'm
been acting
amazing
for
at.
such a long
that you-
time.
And you could fucking be almost as good as me over freaking like, get the hell out
No,
of here. You're
that's
so
not true.
goddamn talented. You're
That's
so
not true.
charismatic.
That's not
The
true.
camera loves you. Look at the camera. Look at it. That's what I'm saying. See? Have me look at the camera. Tell me to look at the camera.
Look at the
Tell me
camera.
to look at the camera.
Look at the camera. Acting. That's acting right there. Acting. I feel like because I don't have the like respect for acting that you do, I feel like I would scab. If someone just asked me, I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll be in a movie. You can sell my face to AI. You can use it for whatever you want. Not now. You just gotta pay me first.
I mean, it's also kind of funny. It's like, SAG hasn't let me in yet. So what do I owe them? You know?
So you got to get in somehow.
Listen, it's also weird because these scab things aren't going to be like, if they just make things non-union projects, like, am I scabbing? Because I took non-union projects before.
That's true.
Like, what?
Interesting. Interesting.
Just, interesting. I mean, if someone said, hey, $8,000 to do this commercial, it's non-union. It used to be union, but now it's non-union. yes, I take it.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
You need the money.
So-
You're acting like
There's going to be a weird middle tier of commercials, I bet, that would have
Mhm.
been union, but then they're like, fine, we'll make it non-union. We'll have to pay a little less.
Taco Bell.
I don't know the rules. Why do people have to be union? Why do studios and commercial places have to be union? Like
I'm
taking
assuming
that-
because of laws of some kind.
Yeah, there must be some kind of contract, but like what laws? Like the government said if your production is over $10,000, you have to have union? Or is that producers making those contracts? Like the Producers Guild is probably
Guys,
beholden to that.
If
but
you're
not
part of
every
SAG and you want to explain how all of this works, come on to our podcast. We'll have you on. And then you
Anyway.
can let us know how to get into SAG.
You know what? I know what we should watch. We should watch Claim to Fame. Have you seen the latest
I
viral
have
clip
seen
about
the
that
clip
lady?
of that.
Can I give you something wild?
Uh-huh.
Remember that sketch show? One of the first things I did here in the city?
Yeah.
She was in my cast for that. Mm-hmm. That she was in my cast for that. I knew her. I was friends with her on Facebook or something at some point. She, the one that said, I should get more screen time. I should get more screen time. Yeah.
Wow.
I was
Look
in a
at
play
that.
with her. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
That's my claim to fame.
That is God, we need to get talking about Mad Max. I'm sorry. But
Why? There's
that scam show was great.
No, I'll do it right now. Mad Max, cool. They drive around, they drive back. Great. Good podcast
the
episode.
cars go
Would
vroom
you
real good though.
They go vroom so good.
They go
so good
real
vroom.
good.
They go vroom so good vroom vroom.
Oh my God. Okay, Nick, first off, Mad Max, have
Yeah.
you watched it before?
Yes. In 2015 in theaters.
Did you like it at the time?
Marcus, that movie is a critically acclaimed, Oscar nominated and winning movie. And I was all about it. I thought it got robbed for Best Picture that year.
Oh, wow.
I was like, that movie was fantastic. One of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. You did not see it at the time, right?
No, I watched it later.
Right.
I think I just watched it like at home one day.
So
I liked it a lot. I thought it was a pretty good movie.
cool. Now ask me how much I liked it this time watching it again.
How much did you like it watching it again?
God, that movie does not age well at home at all.
So I want to point out that this challenge was given to us by Daron, our producer. Thank you, Daron.
Yeah.
We're on Patreon.
She gives us money. She's allowed to do this
She
stuff.
read a book on Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh,
so
That was suggested to me.
I told Blood, Sweat, and Chrome is the name of the book.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it if you're a fan of Mad Max. And Daron will be dropping facts throughout the chat, throughout the stream, in the chat for people.
Well, she better do better do it quick because this ain't gonna be a long episode.
But I've been learning a little bit more about
That's
Mad
really
Max
cool.
through her and through her talking about the book. So it's been a really interesting rewatch to like be getting all of this new information that I didn't know firsthand. It is one of her favorite movies. So since we're dating, you watch those movies because you love the person. And so I rewatched it when we first started dating, and it made me really appreciate the movie. I just thought it's just interesting to watch something with someone who loves it so much.
Yeah.
I feel like that's part of like why we do the podcast. We're like really want to share that stuff with people. You want to share it with people. And so I liked it. And then rewatching it now, I got the 4K edition. So I popped it in, watched it 4K. And in terms of like quality, it holds up real good. It like, there's not a lot of CGI. Everything's practical effects. So like a lot of the stunts were done for real. They flipped the cars. They exploded the cars. Everything is practical. So I guess except for the prosthetic arm, because they had to remove her arm. And all
there was CGI.
There's CGI, but
it wasn't used the same way in most like it is in most movies.
A majority of it was done practically. A lot of the stunts were done there, and it's exciting and cool to watch. And whenever you get a movie like that, it's the reason Alien still holds up. It's really cool. The prosthetic arm was real too, and CGI was used mainly for touch-ups.
So I rewatched this film for this episode here on my computer. I watched it with Lexi over Zoom. I still thought the movie, all the great things about the movie were there, but I was stunned by how much the initial rush went away when I knew that the film was just to drive out and then drive back again. So all the stakes,
they just
completely went away rewatching this film all these years later. And I'm a little mad about it, honestly,
Mhm.
that I had to rewatch it. Because this is, I think, one of those few films where I'm like, my experience at the cinema for it was literally perfect. I remember watching it and being blown away and being swept up in that moment. And now being like, I wish I can go back to a time where in my head, all that was somebody asked me about Mad Max. And I said, one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. And now I have to be like, yeah, it's pretty good. And I'm mad about that.
Look, people pay us every month.
Do you feel the same?
People pay us every month to try something new, to try things that they love, some rewatch things, and that's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen sometimes. I don't feel the same way because I didn't like it as much as you did when you first watched it. You loved it. I thought it was good, and
so
I feel
you
like
thought
the
it was
more
good, and you
I'm
continue to
watching
think it's good.
No, well, yeah, but the more I'm watching it too, the more I'm like, oh, I'm like appreciating it more and more with each rewatch.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've watched it 3 times now. I'm probably going to watch it again. Daron says we watched it last month and could have literally started rewatching it from the beginning in the same sitting.
That's crazy. I just think there's so to talk about the back matter of the film, Daron, please correct me and introduce everything I'm getting wrong. And Marcus, I know you probably know more, but from what I remember 8 years ago, it was a big deal that it came out. George Miller was an older director who his most successful film up to that point was Happy Feet in terms of numbers. And he had a Justice League movie that failed. Like it was like a week before filming and it completely fell apart. And he was like trying to make this movie for like a really long time. And did he make it himself or something? Was something like that involved with it?
Himself?
Like, did he produce it himself? It started developing this movie in 96. Yeah. Let me ask you a question. This movie is a successor to the other. Have you ever seen any of the other Mad Max films?
It's a squeakle. I would say I was living with someone, I think Zach, somebody was watching Mad Max in the living room, like the original Mad Max. It was in that Astoria building, but I've had many roommates in that apartment. Was watching Mad Max in the living room, and I sat and I watched some of the original Mad Max, and that's it. And it was very, very, very boring, and so I left. But I've always wanted to watch Beyond the Thunderdome or whatever that's called. But with the Mel Gibson stuff, it's just like that kind of took me out of it and made me feel like I guess I don't need to watch these.
Yeah, 1979 was the first one. That's crazy. And then Mad Max 2 in 81 and then Thunderdome in 85. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, what I do love about this film is it is so like metal. I don't know how to describe it. It's like, and when I say that, I'm talking about like those metal magazines, like what were they called? The
heavy metal.
Like that's like this aesthetic of biker and things. And
it is very
such a
heavy metal.
Is such a specific thing. And I think this is probably the most I'll ever get of it and take of it and like of it. Like I'm very away from that edgelord stuff. Like I like Pokemon. I like things that are kind of cute and sweet, right? So the fact that this movie is like unabashedly that in terms of design and I mean all like from the little general having little nipple things connecting and like
I loved it.
And his one son being riddled to the chair, but being his like binocular guy, and like the main guy having this thing to breathe but has fucking fangs on it.
Yeah,
it's very metal. It's very metal.
I think that it has some of the best like design work that I've seen in a while. I feel like I did not appreciate the design work as much as I did this time around. Like when I first watched it, I was like, oh yeah, it's cool, it's metal, it's like whatever. But aesthetically, it's a cool looking movie.
It's pretty brilliant. It's pretty brilliant how it uses things we know in an interesting way.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like I would compare it to like the new Dune movie in terms of like, oh, it like perfect, like through the designs, you perfectly understand the world that we're living in.
Yeah. And also, oddly enough, it's a heavy metal version of Dune.
Yeah.
They're like looking for water. It's like a very similar kind of thing. Just to catch everyone up on Daron here.
Wait, we got to do a little Daron facts. What was it? I was trying to come up with a name. Daron facts. Daron's Mad Max facts.
Daron's digesting. Daron's Digest.
Daron's Digest.
This his production company, George Miller's, did produce this film and the other ones, but Warner Brothers did back this one. However, he crowdfunded to make the first one, and him and Mel Gibson made it together, and it was their first huge hit, and it was out of nowhere, which is pretty cool.
Mhm.
You know, it's great that now she's just going in too quick.
She's
Now there's
go-
too many. I'll get back to
She's
you. I'll
bragging.
get back to
We'll,
you.
we'll
Darren's
hop back.
Digest.
We'll read it. This is incentive to join the chat. From now on, Darren's going to read a book about whatever subject we're doing and just drop facts throughout the chat.
Yeah, we're not even talking about the guitar guy yet. But yeah, it's really impressive that they made mundane, everyday item things you'd find in a trailer park not look cheap,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
This movie could have looked cheap, but it does not look cheap at all. It feels so authentic and grounded, but with these crazy like aesthetics and designs. It's truly pretty impressive.
Yeah, I feel like there's always rumors about people making a Borderlands movie. Borderlands is like this huge, the game franchise.
Borderlands would be
It's
a little,
huge.
yeah.
Everybody loves it. And there's been people have been trying to
but
make a
no,
Borderlands TV show.
They
There's-
released promo images of Kevin Hart and Brock, right?
It's still not out, so it's not made. When it
But
is out and
it's
made,
in pre-production.
yes,
But yeah.
it's been but that's what I'm saying. It's been like kind of tossed around. It's been being made for a long time. We haven't gotten any like trailers.
Kate Blanchett
Yeah,
is in it. Jamie Lee Curtis.
exactly. They
Wow, when-
announced a cast, I think, at some point, like some cast.
Not
news,
even
and,
they have silhouettes of the people in costume.
and we have not gotten any updates.
I'm looking at it right
When was
now.
that update? Like 3 years ago?
2021
Two
from
years ago.
Lionsgate. Yeah.
So we'll see. I'll believe it when I see a trailer. But
Eli Roth is supposed to be directing it.
with all of the strikes happening and all that stuff too, I'm curious to see if we'll even see something till like 2025.
That's crazy.
But
But you bring up that because
it reminds me of this movie, and I feel like George Miller would do a pretty good job of a Borderlands movie.
oh sure.
Give him the budget.
I totally buy that. George Miller is clearly a great director. I love Happy Feet. It's a great film.
Why? Okay, hold on. Why
What?
do you say it like that?
I
What are
was
you
saying that
insinuating?
sincerely. If that came off insincere,
Okay.
I
It
meant
seemed
it.
insincere.
The incongruentness in my voice was the fact that I liked the Happy Feet movie, not that George Miller made a great
Okay,
film.
got it.
It was
got
like
got it.
I liked the George Miller. I liked the Happy Feet.
Okay.
It was a silly movie about penguins. I kind of liked it.
I
that
get
was
that. Yeah. Oh man, but
Yeah.
imagine making Happy Feet and then producers, well, not Happy Feet, but like Babe. He made Babe, or making one of those movies,
Great movie.
and then getting pigeonholed into being like the children's movie guy,
Yeah, and then making Mad Max Fury
and
Road.
then making Mad Max Fury Road. But I feel like that happens a lot to creatives. They're like they get pigeonholed into things.
Oh, and Darren, this is from Darren's Digest. The only reason Warner Brothers agreed to do Fury Road was because he agreed to do Happy Feet too, which
Makes sense.
wow, WB really made out like
They
a band
really did.
because Mad Max Fury Road was a huge hit, and the Happy Feet film, I mean, made $380 million.
Whoa, really?
The first Happy Feet was $100 million production. We're finding out all animated movies cost about $100 million. Right?
Yeah, that's a weird
And-
fact.
That's a weird fact. And $384 million was how much it made. The egg on their face though, because the second Happy Feet movie made what cost $135 million.
Uh-huh.
It only made $150 million.
Interesting.
Jokes on them.
Interesting. I feel like that's why the one for them, one for me kind of rule that I feel like a lot of creatives talk about. The one for them usually sucks ass. Why do it?
Yeah, but because they want it, because that gets you the good one, right?
It's I'm convinced that like producers and CEOs don't know what the hell makes money. They're just guessing. They got lucky a million years ago and they're like guessing. And it's more and more obvious that they're guessing.
As I am now becoming a part of a business where I am underqualified and undersituated to do what I'm doing right now, I will tell you, Marcus, yes, that is 100% what happened. They were in the right room. They told the right person that they could
Mhm.
do it. They did one good thing. They had one good projection on something and they got their shot, and now they're just in there. And there's a reason most of them are straight white men.
Yeah.
Because most straight white men are able to say, yeah, no, I'm great.
And
Very
be
confidently.
believed.
And be believed.
And believe it
And be
themselves.
That's also very true.
And also have the opportunity to fall flat on their faces and have it not destroy them.
Yeah. But Marcus, this movie has 97. It's funny because I'm like sour on this movie having rewatched it a little bit. And you're warming up mildly on it over the course of your. So we're in like a funny place doing this review of it, but it's got a 97% from reviewers, an 86 from audience, which is still pretty great. I think the movie is a triumph. It's so impressive. The action is really good. Practically, I think everyone does a great job in it. But God, I mean, it's pretty dumb, right?
I feel like this movie is one of the most impressive movies I've ever watched. But story-wise, it's simple. It's whatever. It's a chase movie. The MacGuffin, like they just are trying to escape, make a delivery. They don't make the delivery, of which turns out to be women. And then the plot twist, they come back and fight to take over the place. And not even really, because the fight happens on the road. And then when they get to the place, I thought there would be more fighting. But then they just kind of like, everyone just kind of welcomes them. And they're like, hey, come back, welcome back. Yeah,
why did the movie's climactic moment happen? And then there's like 20 more minutes of the film.
I have no idea.
It felt like
it was weird.
They defeated the bad guy, and then there were 20 more minutes.
Well, you have to. I mean, look, their whole thing was that they want to go back, take over the spot. I would have loved to see if it was 20 more minutes after, or 20 more minutes of them fighting the people back in the base and having to establish that they're in charge now. 20 more minutes of them leading a revolution. 20 more minutes of something along those lines. But I don't think that. I don't think the writing was the strongest part of this movie.
No, I will say I wanted to try to think of another movie that delivered something. So I just Googled movies with delivery, and the most out of any of these, the only movie out of any of these that I know is Kiki's Delivery Service. And this is not quite Kiki's Delivery Service.
Wait, what were you looking for?
Movies with a delivery, like they deliver something.
The delivery movies.
Yeah, and that those keywords did not work. They gave me Kiki's Delivery Service.
Is this the most highly rated delivery movie?
Probably not.
I think the performances were strong for what they were given.
Oh, Daron's Digest. Read your last one.
There was no script for this movie at any point in development.
That's right. That sounds right.
So I think the actors did a good job with what they were given.
Movie's a triumph. Movie's a god darn triumph. Considering that fact.
Based on all the things Daron was telling me from the book, the movie struggled to be made. The movie kept almost not getting made. While it was being made, they were fighting to try to finish it and get it actually made. Nobody wanted this movie to come out. And to fight, it's like an uphill battle constantly that this movie was fighting. And like Daron said, there was no actual script at any point. They were all kind of like figuring out what was going on. And it just seemed like given all of that, the fact that they were able to make a competent movie that works, you understand it, and it makes sense, and it was so highly rated and so well received. It's pretty good.
I will say that this movie did remind me, and I think the joke of this movie is Mad Max doesn't do a lot.
Yeah.
But like, and I hate to say it, I really like Tom Hardy. He's really good. Having him just run his way through a movie and getting shit done. I mean, that's that warrior movie.
Yeah.
That is,
that's where he works best.
I
don't like
more.
Tom Hardy.
As a person or as an actor?
I don't like him as an actor. I don't think he's that good. But I feel like
really?
I haven't seen him in a lot of stuff.
Tom Hardy?
I haven't seen him in a lot of stuff. I've seen him in Venom.
Well, sure. To be fair, he's way better in Venom than he has any right to be. Like, the movie stinks and he's good. Okay, he was in Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, Lawless, Revenant, any of those?
I've never seen any of those movies.
Did you like him in Inception?
He was in that movie? Was he in the background?
Jesus Christ. No, he's one of the main thieves. There's Leo, and he always fights with Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character. Remember?
Not memorable in any way whatsoever.
He changes his face. Oh, my God.
So it wasn't him acting?
No. It would be the thing where you'd see the mirror and he'd be someone else, but it would be him.
Who's doing the actual acting?
Jesus Christ. Him, Tom Hardy.
Okay.
Oh my God. I love Tom Hardy. I think he's great actor. You've seen Warrior.
No, I've never seen Warrior.
Warrior is a fantastic film. It's an MMA movie, and it's him and Joel Edgerton,
Mhm.
and they're brothers going through it together. All right. Well,
I know. Look, apparently, I need to watch more Tom Hardy.
completely-
Darren is also hugely
whatever.
in love with Tom Hardy, or was in love with him. He might have changed.
Wait, what was supposed to be Heath Ledger, Darren? This movie? Mad
I
Max
think
was
so.
supposed to be Heath Ledger? Whoa.
That
what
would
a
have been an
different
insane
film.
movie.
It would have been almost the same. But
Yeah,
just
but
like
I would have loved him. I would have been more into
I
it.
swear to God.
I would have been.
can't with
Oh,
you.
Heath
Tom
Ledger?
Hardy's a good actor.
Heath Ledger's likable. Even as the Joker, I was like, nah, he's not that bad of a guy. He's not that
I don't think
murderous.
you think you're not supposed to like Mad Max in this film.
Yeah, but you're not
He's
supposed to
be this
dislike him.
weird, gruff. You're dislike.
You're supposed to be endeared to him a little bit.
Wait, does what remind us of Gravity, Old Man Ram? The movie Gravity? Does this movie remind us of Gravity? Correct me if I'm wrong. Gravity is when Sandra Bullock's just lost in space for an hour and a half, right?
Another movie I haven't seen.
Oh, it's a pretty good film. The guy who made Birdman. No, that's not him. The guy who made The Martian? No. I forget.
Martian.
Never mind.
Martian.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Shut up. Get out of here. If you don't know, don't.
I heard
don't
Darren
just
say yes, it
boost
was
me
to
up.
something, but there's a lag between what you're saying and what.
Oh my God. Tom Hardy used to be one of my movie star boyfriends, is what Darren said. Darren had this movie. What? That's a.
Darren has a list. Okay, here's this. Darren has a list of movie stars that she calls her boyfriends. Not movie, because it's Hosier, Thor, Oscar Isaac, and it used to be
Not
Tom
Chris
Hardy.
Hemsworth, Thor.
No, Chris Hemsworth.
It would
Oscar
have been
Isaac.
funnier if it was
It would've
Thor
been funnier.
and Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac and
And Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy used to be in there, but he got kicked out.
Why? What did Tom Hardy do? What did he do to get kicked off? I want to know.
I don't know. Well, he was apparently very rude to Charlize Theron during this film. He would show up late to set a bunch, and she was like in makeup, full press, like ready to go, and
I'm
then
sorry, he
waited
showed
like
up
3
late
hours late.
in the middle of the desert. Why? That's
Everyone's
a story that
sitting-
needs. Hold on. That I don't mean to be a Tom Hardy like apologist out here,
It's
but that
not
story
one
needs
day; it's multiple
way
times.
more. That needs way more context. Was he disagreeing with the fact there wasn't no script? Was he like stuck in a contract? They were in a desert. He was right there, right? Like something more was happening there. Call time was 8 a.m. and he showed up at 2 p.m. From the trailer down the not even road, because they're in the middle of nowhere. Like there's context here that's important, right? Like there's never. That's one of those that I'm like, you know what? I don't buy it.
The ways of the movie stars is not our ways.
Why was he sleeping? Because they were doing him dirty.
Why are you a Tom Hardy apologist?
Why are we a Charlize Theron like?
I'm not a Charlize. I'm a Tom Hardy specific. He could have done it to an unnamed actor. I don't care who he did it to. You don't show up late. That's rude to everybody on set.
I need to know why before I completely ramshackle him for being 6 hours late. There's a story there.
Ask him.
Was he always a little late and one day he overslept because he didn't know that he was on the call sheet because there's no script? Like, I need to know context, right? Anyway.
I hear Darren screaming. Darren, what? Okay, come on. She's gonna come and explain the context.
Oh, there's a lot of. Oh, I'm like, oh, okay. I would have rather had it where I was just like seemed like I was in a good spot, but now I'm gonna seem like an asshole.
Okay, she said she doesn't kick people off her boyfriend list for no reason. So we're gonna switch.
Specifically, this one thing is what did it. All right.
I'm not.
Gotta
I'm gonna
crouch.
share. Okay. Look,
You-
he showed up late anytime the call time was before 12 a.m. And yeah, he was living in a town like 30 minutes from where they were filming, never showed up on time. And this one particular day, he was so fucking late. Charlize Theron was sitting in the war rig, full makeup, ready to start filming. She did not get out of the war rig. She was like, no, I'm trying to prove her point. She had a baby with her in Namibia that she had just adopted before she started filming. And all she wanted to do was rap and be with her firstborn child. And he was so fucking late every day that this day she fucking exploded at him. When he finally showed up, she got out of the war rig and she yelled at him. She's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's so fucking disrespectful. It's so rude to everybody here. We are like thousands strong in the desert working. And he walked up to her like, what the fuck did you just say to me? And like squared up at her basically, so that she was like, I legitimately felt threatened. I felt like I had to have people with me, like a security team with me from that point on, because they were getting along so badly. They had to have a female producer flown in because George Miller's producing partner was like, actually, like, nah. She, in the book, the interview, she was like, I'm just going to say it. It was a man excusing a man for terrible behavior. I had no support on set whatsoever. So they had to get a new producer out so that she felt supported, but the other producer wouldn't even let that lady on set because he was like, I have to protect George's vision. So she was like completely alone. And literally in the interview, like in the book, Tom Hardy being interviewed about it, he was like, Charlize Theron did not feel threatened by me. She's like 6 feet tall. She's so intimidating. How could she ever say that she feels unsafe? I don't buy it. That was literally all he said about the incident entirely. And that, I was like, gross, man. Gross.
Darren, that all sounds really legitimate, but I only have one rebuttal and one question to ask. Who's the bad guy here? The person who slept in? Or the person that adopted a baby to bring it out in the middle of the desert as it's a newborn?
No,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Nick, she literally adopted the baby, and then they were like, we're starting.
She went away.
It wasn't timed like that on purpose. But you're right. No, we hate Charlize Theron. We never believe women. This is done.
I'm gonna clip that. Clip you saying we don't believe
Oh
women.
my God.
I love you.
I love you.
That's awful.
Isn't that awful?
Yeah, that sounds like an asshole.
It sounds like a bad move, especially since it's like documented. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
that's rough.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
He could grow and change. He could be different on future sets.
No. He's an asshole. And I'm sure she's an asshole. And I'm sure George Miller's an asshole. And I'm sure they're all assholes. Most of these
People with
are,
money
right?
and actors are assholes.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, 100%. You know, like I was mostly joking, but why was the baby in the war rig with it? That was
You got a new baby. You got a fresh new baby. You got to take care of it.
What?
You want to be close to the baby. The baby
They're
wasn't in the
still
war
going in.
rig.
Listen, I think Charlize Theron is probably super emotionally intelligent, and Tom Hardy probably isn't. He's probably a little bit of a thug, and he's a little bit of an asshole. I don't think there's any excuse to be as disrespectful as he was.
Wow.
That being said, he makes good movies, and I like
That's fair.
those movies.
That's understandable.
That does suck. That honestly, though, all like joking aside, God, that one sucked to be out in the freaking desert like that. Like not even just this situation. Not even just this situation. Like the whole production of this. Miserable
Miserable
sure.
production. I feel like it's so funny because I don't hear. I was listening to Daron talking about a book. And I don't remember a lot of like everyone being like, "This is the worst filming of any movie that they've ever done." So they must have done a lot to like try to make it accommodating to them in some way.
What was the
Probably
worst
had trailers
environment to film in? Oh, The Revenant sounded pretty awful.
Oh, they were miserable by the end of it. Evil Dead: Army of Darkness. That one.
I heard that
when
one
I was watching the documentary, they were saying that they all filmed in the desert. That production was sloppy. They filmed like pretty much, I feel like it was like 15-hour days or something like that. They were filming in the desert, and a lot of that was during the daytime, and it was a lot.
Well, The Revenant was similar because it was in the cold, and that movie was wild because I don't know if you've seen it, but the guy who made it was the guy who made Birdman. He only used natural lighting in that whole film, which means if it wasn't right, they had to. Sometimes they only had half an hour to get like things done. Nightmare film shoots. Okay, guess what? Both of the films we've mentioned on here. Nightmare film shoots, the most grueling films ever made. Let's see what this says. Deliverance from 1972 was apparently awful. Jaws in 1975. Spielberg wanted to shoot Jaws out on the open ocean, a decision that resulted in a grueling film shoot. The Sorcerer in 1997. Apocalypse Now. That seemed pretty bad. The Vietnam War movie. Heaven's Gate. Don't know that movie. The Shining.
Heaven's Gate's a cult. One more the movie is.
Sure. The Shining. When it comes to psychological grueling films, this one was like grueling because of like Kubrick was an asshole.
Oh, The Shining. Yes, I've heard about that.
Worse than an asshole.
He made the conditions bad.
Abusive. Yeah. A movie called Roar. The Evil Dead's on here.
Nice.
Twilight Zone, the movie. Ishtar. Predator. That one makes sense. Alien 3. Waterworld.
Ooh,
Mhm.
Waterworld.
Titanic. We're just gonna keep going. Wait, why is Team America World Police on here? Team America required a crew of nearly 200 people to successfully pull off the puppeteering that was central to the film's concept. There were
Wow.
270 puppet characters, but the limited capability forced them to make changes to the script. It was the worst time of my entire life. I never want to see a puppet again. Hold on, it keeps going. Stone said, "You work 20 hours a day, take sleeping pills to go to bed, and drink coffee to stay up. You feel like a piece of shit. None of your friends like you. Your parents don't like you. You have a movie at the end." That is very sounds like what he
Oh
would
my
say.
god, I love that.
Oh, Fantastic Four. Remember that? Did it
Yeah.
when the director went into a tent and then like stopped showing up and crap?
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was the guy who made that found footage movie. Let's see. Fox intervened to reshape the script. The rate that Trank is said to have isolated himself from the cast and crew, pitching a tent around his monitors so he'd not have to interact with others on set.
That's insane.
And Mad Max Fury Road right here, and The Revenant. Don't breathe. What?
It probably because they couldn't breathe. Hilarious. 10 out of 10 joke. I'm the greatest.
He said Levy was not happy during the film. I need to look at that up. All right. Anyway, so back to Mad Max. So you don't like Tom Hardy. Do you like Charlize Theron?
I do. I mean, I like her in this film. I don't necessarily feel like I like her as a person. Not that she
I
did
feel
anything
like
wrong. I just don't have strong opinions.
I liked her the first time I saw this, and I've liked her in other things. Rewatching this, I didn't like it as much, but now I think I know why I didn't like it, because the movie felt a little more chauvinistic than I think it was touted as early on. Because early on when it came out, it was like Furiosa, she's great, this female badass, all that. But as watching now, it felt very like it wasn't male gazy or anything like that, which was nice. But like it felt a little chauvinistic in a way where she like had to look at Tom Hardy's character in such like I feel like she had a right to be meaner to him in a lot of the things.
I kind of.
But she was like thankful to have a man there to help out.
I feel like
It felt that way this to me.
I feel like Tom Hardy's role felt important to the film in a way that it doesn't make sense and isn't earned.
Yes. Where it feels like there's back matter, right? Or like I'm supposed to know, or there's going to be a sequel. Or
yeah,
like
yeah. It seems
something.
like he has to be in the movie, and that's the only reason he's in the movie. Like it's like, he has a. I don't know. I feel like it kind of makes sense. He's threatening them. They're in a weird situation. They end up needing him later, but I don't know. It just kind of felt like he's kind of holding them hostage, so that way he can continue moving forward in the plot.
Yeah.
But at no point do I feel like. I guess the turning point is when he goes back, when he's like, hold on 1 second, I'll be back, and like fucks everybody up, and they just show him come back.
I mean,
bloody.
That
and
was
everything.
that was really cool.
Yeah.
I
So
like that a lot.
that's the point. I feel like it's supposed to be the turning point where he earns his keep, but that's pretty deep into the movie. And
But earns his keep is different than like how I thought the movie was portraying it. Like I don't know. It's feel like she wanted him. Like she wanted him around. Like she wanted his companionship, which is fine. But it, like, I don't think he earned that. I think he earned a respect, and but it didn't feel respectful. It felt like, oh wow, that person. Oh man.
I don't know. I kind of. It's hard because there was barely any dialogue in the movie.
It was in a lot of looks.
So it's not like there was a lot, right? So there was a lot in the acting that they were bringing. There was a lot in the looking. There was a lot of stuff that they were necessarily bringing to the table, and there's a lot that you also get to fill in the gaps in.
I guess the first time filling in the gaps, I was like, oh hell yeah, and this time filling the gaps, I was like, you know what, this doesn't make me as happy as it did before. I don't know if it's I've changed as a person and maybe I'm more sensitive to those things. I don't know if it means that now I'm putting things that I've experienced since then in my own life and projecting it onto this, like of these situations, how it could be a million things. But I will say this time I did not like it as much, that that dynamic, that relationship between them. And it felt like it was short shifting Furiosa.
I think having Mad Max at all in the movie does lessen Furiosa's importance.
Yeah, fair.
In the film. Because he's just there. And when Furiosa is such a strong lead, is carrying the film, it kind of feels like, why is he here? He shouldn't be here. This is stupid.
Yeah, I do kind of like that. So it feels like a joke.
Yes. Yeah, it does feel like a joke, but a joke that I feel like gets
Kinda like
old
that.
a little bit.
Well, jokes get old when you
Because
say the same
even
joke
at the
over
end,
again.
when he just kind of like leaves the group,
The way she's looking at him.
the way
feels
they're
like
all, I guess mainly her looking at him, it's like,
Yeah.
oh,
all of them
my
too.
friend's leaving, goodbye. And it's like this big important guy. It's like, that guy, you barely knew that guy. Like,
Yeah. But that being said, like, apart from the script thing, apart from a couple of the like choices made narratively, it's so cool. And we didn't even talk about Nicholas Hoult. He's great in this movie.
I
think
did
he's
really like him.
I think the whole War Boys and the etymology and like the back matter of who they are and why they're there, all this stuff felt really cool, felt earned, felt nice. Great world building, it feels like, right?
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's incredible world building through the like scenery and design, not through the plot and not through the storytelling.
See, Daron, I would agree with you. She says to me, she comes to the understanding earlier that Max that they have to be vulnerable with each other to each other in order to like move forward. But like, I don't think he reciprocates that. He does in like he like protects them all, but like I don't know. I just didn't like it as much. I think maybe it's a little dated even from just 8 years ago. I think she didn't have to be the one to let that down. I think he should have had to or something, or like he needed to prove something better in a certain way, or I don't know.
I think a more dialogue would have really helped all of that to establish what their dynamic is, what their goals are. Why is he still there? Like what's happening? Why do we need this? I think their relationship just feels not fleshed out.
Yeah, and I think I think that's right. Yeah.
And I mean,
and there's not a conclusion there.
There's not a conclusion. There's no. You have to fill. The movie is making you fill in blanks that like could lead to you thinking one thing, one viewing, and then a different thing, another viewing, which is good and bad.
Yeah, but that being said, the traces are really cool. So
yeah. And I feel like the fact that the movie held my attention for as little dialogue as there was, and for as little like as much of the storytelling was done through editing and stuff like that, I feel like it held my attention. I'm not a race scene car kind of guy, but I've watched this movie multiple times and I like it every time.
Yeah, it was a shame that I really wish I could have saw it on a big screen. I just saw it here on my computer, but it deserves a bigger screen.
As Scorsese says, you gotta go to the cinema. You gotta go to the cinema.
You gotta
stop watching movies on your idiot box and go to the cinema.
But yeah, I do think there is a little underpinning underneath it too, with some really nice arcs and stories about redemption and things like that. Just like Nicholas Holt's character wanting to kill himself kamikaze style twice and failing both times.
Yeah,
and then realizing none of those people really cared about him, and then he finally found something to live for, and that's when he died. There's a little bit of beauty in like the chaos of this movie, like thrown throughout, and a little bit of a beauty, like life grows from nothing. The seed lady and gives it off to the young girl. But let me ask you this: they go to the Citadel, they start releasing all the water. That water is like running out in like 10 minutes, right?
That's what I was very confused by that.
And then they're all fucked.
I was very confused by that because it's like, yes, let's give the water to the people. And I was like, yeah, give the water to people, but like in a way that is like
not so wasteful.
Efficient and not just dumping water on the floor.
If it's this precious resource, I know why the evil guy did it.
Yes,
he did it to control them, and he didn't care, and that was great. But like,
why are the good guys doing this?
Right. And is there truly an endless supply of water and he had the only access to it? Or is it a reservoir like most water is? There's no such thing as an endless supply of water. It's going to run out. And there might not be enough water for all those people. And if there are, like, I mean, the guy could have just been an idiot, but he should have gave him a little more so everyone was capable to like work and like help him make things and do things, But everyone around him was dying.
Yeah.
All his war boys, all the people.
I would have loved another 30 minutes explaining like the irrigation systems that they have in the film.
That's
Like
not what I'm
help me
saying. That's not what
understand truly
I
how
wasn't
this
saying-
network of water works.
That's not what
so
I'm
we
saying.
can create a
We're not-
system and understand that, yeah, he was
No,
a bad
that's-
guy for controlling the water he was in the way he was.
That's not what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
No, I know what you're saying. It was very inefficient. On my first viewing, I had that thought, and still on my third viewing, I have the thought of, oh,
This
no,
isn't sustainable.
this is stupid. Why are you dumping water like that?
Yeah.
It was just like it was like a show of force almost. Like when you're like, yes, we've conquered the bad guy. We're gonna be different. I understand the gesture, but
Sure. It's also like it's just it reminds me of like Urinetown or something like that, where like in the end of that musical, everyone pees everywhere and everything like smells crappy, right? Like there was a reason for the bad guy to do what they were doing in the first place, and then they just turned bad. Like there must be like a reason this resource was being limited in the first place, and then they got evil.
you're sounding very anti-communist right now, Nick. You're sounding very pro-capitalism. There's a finite amount of resources, and we just gotta charge for them. It's just the way
That's
it
not-
is.
That's not what that's not what I'm saying. If there are enough resources for everyone to go around, we should share them. But if there's not enough, if you're on a spaceship and you have 60 days worth of food and your destination is 70 days away, then everyone's gonna have to be a little hungry to make it home.
Mm-hmm.
The water's that was an analogy. So the water was
I
the
got
food.
it. I got it. No,
and then
I
the
understand what
people
you're
were the
saying. But you just it was a one-time thing. I'm sure that they're gonna manage the resources a little better, and maybe that's the
Marcus,
sequel.
do you really think that? Do you really think that?
And maybe in the sequel, I think a lot of stories that end up this way, the new person, the hero, finds themselves as the villain or falling into a lot of the same trappings as the
Or they found out
previous
there's not actually
prequel.
that much water. There's not enough
And then
water
they
for
have to
everyone.
manage, and they find their own way of managing, and then
Yeah.
there have to be some semi-tyrannical.
You're saying what I said.
I'm just
You
saying.
agree with me.
I'm
Stop
just
pretending
saying.
like you don't.
I agree with you. I'm just saying that it could be covered in a sequel. That would be interesting.
Are they making a sequel?
They're making a prequel.
A prequel with Anya Taylor-Joy.
Anya Taylor-Joy as Furiosa.
That's like filming right now, or
I mean, if based on the history of this film,
2024 is when it's supposed to come out. Anya Taylor-Joy. Chris Hemsworth is supposed to be in it, but he just said he's not acting for a little while. Oh, Yahya Abdul-Mateen from Watchmen.
it's in post-production.
Oh, so it's film.
Cool.
Oh, cool. Wow, it's in post-production and we've yet to see anything from it. That's crazy. It's scheduled to come out next year, 2024.
They're doing the opposite of this movie. Everything is CGI. Everything
was
is...
Oh man, probably. It was originally supposed to come out in 10 days. from
Oh,
today.
wow.
Got pushed back. Wonder why. Is there anything out of this? Any promo images? Have we seen Anya Taylor-Joy as Furiosa? Is there a poster? There is a really nice fake poster. But that's it. All right. Well, whatever.
Weird.
Oh, is Chris Hemsworth gonna be the daddy guy? I would like that.
And a prequel?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be cool.
No, he would still have to be way older than Chris Hemsworth to be for the age to make sense, I think.
That's true.
Because Charlize Theron's in her 40s and Anya Taylor-Joy's in her 20s, so it's just 20 years. Chris Hemsworth isn't going to look like that old guy in 20 years.
Yeah,
No, with some makeup, maybe. Anyway,
he could.
there's been behind the scenes photos. Interesting. Anyway, well, Marcus, do you have anything else to say about Mad Max Fury Road?
No, I got nothing else to say.
All right, cool.
Oshinoko is another anime that is hyped a lot, but given my disappointment of all of the anime from this season that everyone has been hyping up, I do not have high hopes, but it is on my list to watch next.
I don't know what this is. It's looks like a magic girl. Is it a magic?
No, I think Oshinoko, correct me if I'm wrong, Oberlin Rom, but basically these two otakus get reincarnated as music idols or something. And then they're trying to. It's about the dark side of Japanese fame and stuff.
Kaguya no
Love is War.
Love is War?
Guy. Yeah.
Oh, I do love Love is War.
Mhm.
Honestly, aesthetically, this looks like my jam. So maybe I'll watch it and I'll give it to you because I have nothing to give you. Well, guys, that was the show. That was the show today. I feel like it's.
Well, you gotta ask the questions.
With Oppenheimer coming out, it feels like this one's letting out with a whimper.
I know, right?
Well, Marcus, did you like this film?
I did. Did you like the film?
Not as much the second time.
But did you like it still, or is it gone?
Yeah, I still liked it. It was still great.
Cool.
But I just remember it being a perfect film, and now it doesn't feel like a perfect film.
That's fair.
Yeah, weird.
Mhm.
It's never really happened to me that way before.
I like that.
I'm growing.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, that's nice. Would you recommend this film?
Definitely, I would.
Totally. If you have but if you can watch it on a big screen at home or even at a movie theater, because it is nonstop, it is kinetic, it is dynamic, it is just a super fun ride. Even if you find some of these other things we mentioned a little lacking narratively.
Yeah,
it is a feat. And there's just a lot of really great creativity there. And like from Daron's Digest, the guy with the guitar it's made out of a bedpan. I got it in there, Daron. I got all your facts. And Marcus, will you watch the prequel for
honestly,
Furiosa?
Yeah.
How do you say this word? Furiosa?
Furiosa.
That word makes no sense. I don't like it. All right.
Cool.
Great.
Nick, are you gonna watch
Marcus,
Furiosa?
Yeah, it's got my favorite actress in it, Anya Taylor-Joy. I watch everything with her.
I knew it.
I watch everything with her.
I knew it.
I watch everything.
Nick,
Lexi, I don't actually let it slip. Here's the thing about like my celebrity crushes. I don't actually talk about my celebrity crushes too much because I don't really have that many. There's people that I think are interesting. Anya Taylor-Joy, I know I've let it slip one too many times because when I mentioned it to Lexi, she was like, "Oh, you love her," and I was like, "Shit,
damn, I've shown my hand."
Shit, I've shown that one too much. Shit.
You gotta change it up. You gotta spice it up. You gotta say different people.
No, now I think I just lean in. Honestly, my two, and now I want to hear yours because maybe this is the only interesting part of this podcast now. I think my two celebrity crushes that I can think of. I mean, I'm sure that there's tons of people I think are interesting and pretty, but Anya Taylor-Joy is definitely one of them. Rachel McAdams will always be,
of course, yeah,
one of those women for me. She's perfect. What are some of yours? Do you have any?
I don't really have any.
Well, give me one for the bit.
Okay, one for the bit. I would say
don't say like Angelina Jolie or something dumb. That's not true. I really want to know. There must be someone where you go like, wow, or like, oh, I kind of want to see that movie.
Jasmine from Aladdin, baby. Go.
Stop it. That's not what I'm looking for.
That's what I want. That's what I want. When I think celebrity crush, I think of Jasmine.
Female celebrity crushes.
Who I don't know. I feel like for me, I have to know
I feel like
person.
You hate the common ones. Like most people are like Scarlett Johansson, Jessica Biel, Megan Fox, Mila Kunis. I'm sure you're like, nah to all those people.
No.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you think like Emma Watson's overrated. And
Annabelle.
Emma, the horror doll?
Yeah.
The horror?
Smash. That's a smash.
Okay, what about the quirky ones like the Anna Kendrick and the Emilia Clarke? Are you into those?
Oh, one just came to mind. The Bride of Chucky. Smash.
Jesus Christ. Guys, if you enjoy the podcast, please go ahead and take a picture of the last piece of food and tweet it at us at Now Try This Cast. You can, of course, subscribe and do all the things. But honestly, I just want pictures this week. That's all I want. Please give them to me. But if you want to join the conversation next month, you can join the Patreon at patreon.com/Now Try This Cast. All right, do you have one more last ditch thing you want to Eliza Dushku, Linda Cardellini? Like, what's your vibe?
When
man?
I was a kid, Elijah Dushku.
Okay, I thought that's
Faith.
what I was. Okay,
I was very into Faith.
Okay,
but also when I was a kid, I liked everybody, all the women on TV. I was like,
next week I want to know your number one celebrity crush.
Okay, I'll find one
next week.
Darren hasn't said anything in chat. She would have popped in and been like, "Oh, you actually really like."
I believe
Steve Buscemi, and she hasn't said anything.
I on purpose don't. I think it's a little rude to really go gaga for too many people, period. So like, I don't like.
You like to keep your girlfriends tight, your celebrity girlfriends just tight, like two.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's
two, because you don't want to cheat on them.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
You want to be a player.
It seems reasonable for my partner to accept that there's just like a couple girls on TV that I'm like, wow, I really think they're talented, you know?
Yeah. What about Jenny Ortega? Is that one of yours, or is that Joseph?
I think she's really cool. She's very young looking. She's
Got it.
She's like the cutoff, I think, for me now as a person where I'm like, oh, cool. That's the start of Gen Z where I'm like,
Not
you
cool
know,
with being attracted to them.
yeah, like she's objectively very attractive and objectively like my type, but I'm like, you know,
That's the cutoff. That's
I think her older sister is more my speed in Scream is what I'm referring to. Marcus, get us out of here.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate everybody who joined the stream. There was a lot of people here today. Good group, good facts. Really appreciate it. Remember to go out there and try some things. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Oh my God.
Friends get together so they can try things. Young Politics Podcast so that you can try things. Now we will stop singing so that we can all now try this.
I'm going to be honest with you. I have no idea whose challenge it is next week. Crap. Is it mine? It's mine, isn't it?
I gave
Oh,
you Spider-Man
no.
into Spider-Verse.
Oh, no.
Don't have to think
No, I gave you Flash.
challenge. Oh, fuck.
It's your challenge. You didn't prepare at all. So start thinking and putting your brain noggin going as I finish up this intro.
Sure. Cool.